Welcome. I'm just going to turn that off first. There we go. Welcome to the 9th live show. Thank you for joining me. Today, as I've promoted and talked about, this is a very, very live show. And the reason I say that is previous shows I have prepared kind of multiple slides, and it's been, I suppose it's been more like just a presentation more than anything else, yeah. And what I want to do, what I want to try and get across, is the logic of this, the ability of you being able to do this, and I suppose it's showing that there are two ways of driving this. One is very organised, very prepared, and the other is kind of on the fly. And for me, it's a bit like, would you really want to do that? And my thought process, my kind of response to that is, well, why not? Because apart from the whole live stream thing, it is a kind of a big deal, but there's no editing. You know, I could knock out videos. Anybody can get videos organised. But by doing this live means you get to see me. You get to see how I respond to different things. And isn't that what we all want? We want to see the authentic individual that's part of a organisation or group or whatever. And part of the problem is that businesses tend to have a shield up in front of them. They want to kind of be slightly hidden. They don't want to be open and transparent for fear of failing. Yeah, everyone in business says, "Oh, you've got to fail fast." But nobody really wants to fail in front of anybody else. Whereas live stream, if you've got people with you and if you're doing this as a team, well, if you cock it up, so it goes wrong. But the point is that how else could you ever connect with your audience? Because, you know, if you've got issues with distance and accessibility and getting in front of them and so on, how else could you ever do this? And that's what I want to talk about today. Is kind of along the lines of it has to be a Q&A. It has to be a Q&A. And so what I'll do, I'll just go over to the kind of the fairly kind of familiar format, if you've been with me before, what we are and what we're about. And for those of you who haven't seen this show before, and there are some, we have some faithful followers, and we have people that kind of dip in and think, well, what's this all about? Sales Exchange is a B2B live streaming new business development consultancy. And there are, to my knowledge, no one else around that's doing what we're doing. The shows are about presenting a different way of generating new business, unlike anything that you've ever done before. And the problem is, everybody knows, I say everybody in sales knows marketing doesn't work. Digital marketing does not work. It's a complete waste of time, effort and money. And because of that, it's essential that for people's sanity and financial stability to understand what they can do, which doesn't depend on marketing departments. I mean, it's a desperate, in certain instances, it's a desperate situation. So we're about communicating this different methodology and approach to reaching out to your total addressable market. And the scale of this is quite breathtaking, because to give you a bit of an understanding about this, I'll just make sure I'm not going to jump ahead. If you know who your total addressable market are, and you should, because that's why you're in business in the first place, you could have as many as 1, 2, 3, 5, 10,000 people that you could potentially sell to. Of companies that have over 50 employees, there are 44,000 companies in the UK. So, say you went for 10 of them, 10,000 name database costs you $3,500. You could never, ever speak to them, ever. an impossibility unless there was a methodology that you could adopt that would enable you to do that. And that's where this comes effectively comes into its own, because you're able to message everybody, say, hi, we're doing a live show, come and watch us. They get to see the authentic you, get to know, like, and trust you. That's what this is all about. Nothing complicated. These are the basic tenets of selling. And so when people do get to know, like, and trust you, they can dip in, they can see what you're like, they can look at your different shows, look at what you're talking about, but also go to your website and learn from your website, maintaining their anonymity the whole time. And so because of that, you're able to reach a significant number of people. And that's why live streaming must replace current marketing activities, because they are a waste of time. People don't want to engage. They want to self-serve, self-educate. And marketers have known this for 10 years. Yeah. And so people that are pushing demand gen, lead gen, ABM, give them a wide berth. You don't need it. It doesn't work. Everybody knows it doesn't work. My stomach's rumbling. Everybody knows it doesn't work because your pipeline, you haven't got a pipeline, you've got no leads, you're down on your target, you're down on your quota, and yet you're being told to do the same thing over and over again and do more business. Absolute insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So that's why we're doing this, is to demonstrate, not just to present all the time, but to demonstrate this is what you do. I haven't got a script. There's no teleprompter in front of me at the moment. And you're thinking, I can talk 10 to the dozen. I could talk for England. But that's another another matter. But the point is that how difficult is it going to be? You know, you sit in front, do Zoom or Teams. You're talking to a camera. Why not just talk to a camera and reach hundreds or thousands of people? And it costs pennies by comparison to everything and anything that marketing's ever done. I mean, it's breathtaking how little it costs. Anyway, why should you change your strategy? Well, you should change your strategy if the existing one doesn't work, whatever that existing one is. And if you're not getting the business, not doing the business, you need to change. You need to look at something else. Doesn't matter what you do, who you are, you need to evaluate something else, because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. We broadcast from the middle of England, give or take, which is Stone in Staffordshire. And can you do the same? Well, you decide. That's what this is all about. You decide. So let's go on to the next one, which is the shows that we've done so far, the 8 that we've done to date. I'm not going to read through every single one of them, but we've covered lots of different areas, lots of different subjects. And like I said, they tend to be kind of more presentation related. But the point is that it explains the absolute 100% unequivocal relevance to every single department that exists in an organisation. And I think the most important thing is that it's what your prospects want. So in a way, it doesn't really matter what you want. It's what your prospects want. So here we are. Increasing revenue, live Q&A and an update. Well, I've mentioned here about an update. I'll just give you an update on what we're doing and what's happening over the next few weeks and so on. But also asking anonymous questions. Why would we do that? Well, if your prospects want to remain anonymous, self-serve and self-educate, why would anybody want to put their name out there? Think about it. Oh, look, they're looking at doing something different. Let's all contact them. I've had it myself. You go and join a live show, and everybody sees that you're at the live show. Oh, we were on the same live show together. Can I come and sell you something? No, you can't. So any opportunity people see, they just think it's well, let's go for it. So anonymity is critical for business development. it goes against the grain, but it's what every single CEO or business development, not business, CEO or managing director or decision maker wants to be. They want to be anonymous. They don't want you salespeople chasing them down. They will make a decision to do something if they can prove an ROI. That's it. So stay anonymous until you're ready to get in touch. But if you're doing this, excuse me, itchy nose. That's why it's live, because otherwise if it was a video I'd cut it out. If you're doing this, they get to know you. What would you do in an appointment? And that's the point. If you can deliver exactly how you would behave on an appointment, you've achieved it. And if you do something that, I'll come on to my numbers in a minute, you do something that people get to see on a regular basis, you can't touch this. You know that your BDRs can only get in touch with, can only ring 300 people a week and get in touch with and find one person that might be interested. So you're talking hundreds, thousands of people engaging with this. So it's scary good, yeah? So on to the next one, our live show, our Q&A. We've got you can contact me obviously on LinkedIn. You can, if you're watching this on LinkedIn at the moment, there's the comments, so you can put messages in the comments. That makes you visible. You can text us. I haven't got your number. I don't know who you are. It's just going to be a phone number. Text your message in, or you can email. Either way, whatever you do, I'm not going to contact you. Unless you ask me to, but I'm not going to contact you. So there's going to be no comeback whatsoever, and you will remain anonymous as far as all this is concerned. Our update. So if you're looking at this is kind of something that naturally anybody and everybody's going to keep a focus on. The live shows that we've done, so we've done eight live shows. We've had 565 people look at these live shows. Of our Social 444, which is our strategy of producing graphics, and as far as the graphics are concerned, the graphics promote the content. Okay, so we've had 797 people engage with us through that. Not the impressions. The impressions are like, I don't know, 10,000 impressions or whatever. But 797 people have liked or clicked or whatever. The live shows are converted into podcasts. We've had 112 downloads of the podcast since the 28th of September. And then in terms of our website, just for the past 30 days, because that was the quickest one I took off analytics, 55% increase in sessions, 71% increase in users, 157% new users over the past 30 days, and an increase of 34% in views. Happy days. Now, just there it says update, engagement to date, familiarity equals 310 to 1. I mentioned this the other day. 25 years ago, it would take 30 attempts to become familiar, so 30 adverts or attempts to get in front of somebody. It would take about 30 attempts, and 1 in 3 got through, which means, I have to rephrase that, it took 10 attempts, but 1 in 3 got through, which meant you needed 30, okay, before you became familiar. People, us, you and I, became familiar with a brand. Now, that was 25 years ago. Now, because we've got LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, and so on, so there's a lot more noise. It now takes nigh on 20 to 30 touches to become familiar, and 1 in 10 get through, which means you need 300. And that's why we do Social 444, which is we produce lots of adverts. The adverts go out automatically, linked within LinkedIn and other platforms, and people are able to engage with us in that way, and it's automated. So that's as a result. All of this is as a result of our strategy. And the thing is about this, it's nobody buys something as soon as they see something. Well, if it was jeans or trainers or something else, I don't know, something that consumer related. But when it comes to business, what we're saying is this is a quantum change in what you're doing in terms of your new business development. I'm sidelining marketing. Everybody's banging a drum about marketing or waving a flag, banners, and so on. I'm sidelining them. I'm kind of pushing them to one side. You're not involved in this anymore. You shouldn't be, because you've failed. And so this is why doing something different takes a significant amount of time, because it needs to become kind of repetitive to an extent, but people need to see you on a regular basis. They need to see sales exchange and the branding and all that kind of stuff on a regular basis to gradually warm to it. So, and the same will apply to you, because you start doing this, you'll start reaching a new market. They're not going to just drop everything and come and buy from you. It takes time, but the key is for it not to cost a fortune. And that's what's been happening for the past 10, 20 years. Marketing has cost people tens, hundreds, millions to maintain this activity. And if people don't want to fill out forms and don't want to be found and don't want to remain anonymous, what a waste. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, well, the lines are open. Haha. Excuse me. So what I'll do is I'll go back to this view here. I will click on here. So there are the details. You can text us, you can email me, you can chat with me on LinkedIn, and that's it. We'll just wait here now, shall we? Oh, okay. Yeah, I did. Like I said, we did have some earlier, so it could be really bad. But this is the whole thing, isn't it? I mentioned on one of the posts that doing this, it's warts and all. Yeah, if it goes well, great. If it tanks, crashes and burns, so it crashes and burns. So what? We'll do another one next week. But the point is that it's authentic, isn't it? Yeah, and people will either, you continue listening to someone, or you don't listen to someone. You think, well, that person is so boring, or actually that was kind of a bit upbeat. That was I could look at that. So let's just crack on with this first few that we got through. What are the biggest challenges a company will face by moving to live stream? Biggest challenges. I think that the challenge is going to be kind of twofold. Salespeople gagging, I want this now. Yeah, so there's no issue with them. The challenge is going to be, I've gone way beyond being diplomatic. Yeah, way gone beyond that. Having spent 10 years looking at this and realizing how badly companies have been treated by marketing. Yeah, so you see where I'm coming from. And to give a bit of kind of I don't know, background or support to what I'm going to say. CB Insights said that 52%, or marketing was responsible for 52% of the businesses that failed. Marketing activities were responsible for 52% of them. So all the marketing ideas and all the things that marketing tell people, businesses to do, they're responsible for just fractionally over half of all business failures. That should be shocking people. And the trouble is that how on earth does anybody change from that or shift away from that? You're looking at challenges. What are you going to face? Kit's kit, couple of salespeople sitting in front of a camera. That's a lot of fun. It's not, I press 2 buttons, go live, that's it, finished. So the delivery of it isn't a problem, but it's what happens prior to that happening. And the problems that you'll face are with marketing and potentially with people on board of directors. Because certain boards of directors think that they know about marketing and they have endorsed whatever marketing has said, like blanket, whatever you like. There was a guy called Daniel Kahneman, and he was a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and he wrote a book which was called Thinking Fast and Slow. And the point of I'm mentioning this is that there was a couple of things. One of the things that he mentioned was about repetition, which is what marketers do, and the other thing was thinking fast, which is when you think something is, you make it an instinctive decision. That's something that's fast. If you research something because you're not sure and so on, and you research and evaluate whatever, that's a slow decision, slow thinking. So combine repetition with fast thinking. You've got a marketing conundrum. Marketers love it. Business owners think they know it. And your CFO can see the figures. Says it ain't working. So you churn the marketers. So the problem in moving to live streaming is it exposes everything. It exposes what people have been doing. And you go, right, so it didn't work. In fact, actually, hang on a second, let's look at this. It's never worked. That's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. So some people don't want to expose that. Some businesses might be very open and transparent and go, no, change now. Do this now. Do it parallel. We'll do whatever. And you've got sales managers, sales directors, VPs of sales going, are you kidding me? We should jump on this straight away because our pipelines are dwindling. So you end up having these different factions within the business. One side are going, we can't do this. It's going to expose us. Because that group over there in marketing are salaried. They're not entrepreneurs. They're not responsible for deals, sales coming in. You are. Salespeople are. Your business owners are. So you're responsible for business coming in. They're not, but they're paid bonuses and KPIs, etc., etc. So they've got a great deal to lose because how diplomatic could I be? Not. If you employed me, I'd sack them all. I'd get rid of marketing completely. And people are thinking, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah, but you've got to know it inside out to be able to say get rid of them. If you don't know it inside out, you'd be frightened to do anything like that. But that fear comes in. False expectations appearing real. It ain't real. They're no good. They've not contributed or delivered. So the problems, challenges a company face is going to be based upon, I'm not going to say ego, but fear of being exposed. That's a big deal. That's a big thing for companies. Whereas, when people talk about failing fast. So something in that respect to kind of consider. The technical side and everything else, no, not an issue at all. The next one we've got here is how important is the content part of it? I've not been particularly specific about that, but I mean, in terms of there's different types of content. You've got the you've got the kind of the live content, and then you've got your website content, your static content. And when you're looking at that, it has to work hand in glove, yeah. Because the point being is that what you're after is engagement and stickiness. You want people to keep coming back to you. They will not come back to you if you've got 4 or 5 paragraph blogs. That's irrelevant. I mean, I saw something yesterday actually, or was it this morning? Or last night? I can't remember. About has Google kind of done away with blogs because of their algorithms and changes and so on, and the really useful content update and all that kind of stuff. And the reality is that businesses shouldn't be doing blogs anyway, because you sell product to businesses that need to establish an ROI. So you're not doing blogs. You're producing articles that should be educational and informative. So if that's the case, then what you need to do is understand that you have to get your content structured in such a way that you're happy, really very happy for people to read it and engage with it. And if you think that, Google even say that your content should be between 2,000 and 6,000 words long. So if you use those lenses to look at what your content is right now, you'll see that the impact your content is already having, because you don't need loads of it. You sell X product. For argument's sake, you could say, so you need, with all the different things that you do, all the specialist areas that you're involved in, 10, 15, 20 documents. That's it. You don't do anything else. How often is your product actually updated? Not very often. And so with that content that you have, you are able to then use this social 444 thing and produce adverts to promote the content again and again and again. So the way that your content works. Okay, I've got another message here. I will have a look at that in a second. And the point is that if you are producing sufficient content, you're on a winner. If you have, say for example, you had 10 documents, 10 really good documents, like engaging. They've got an index list at the front. They've got bullet lists, number lists, graphics, infographics, links to videos, everything. Great call to action at the bottom if they need to. But it's a really useful, informative document. So that's a great document. Talk about it in a live show. I mean, I'm going to talk about show flow next week. I'll come on to that in a minute. But in terms of content, it is absolutely endless what you can do in terms of your show. But the important thing is that you must absolutely understand the content and who is writing the content. I mean, I can't tell you. It's, for me, I just kind of see it's gone messy. Salespeople should be writing the content because they sell it. They know the questions they get asked. They know how people like to have things communicated to them. They should write the content. The salespeople thinking, I don't want to write content. Well, tough. Well, you can either do that or sit in front of the camera and become hosts. Yeah. But that's what this is about. It's about, in terms of content, what should it be like? What can you produce? What's the best thing to produce? And I kind of think that the more varied, the better. We'll come on to that later, but the more varied, the better. And there's stacks of it that you can talk about, like doing this. But if you're not talking about live streaming content, you're looking at other content. We did a live show about it, just about different types of content and how to structure it. Okay, let's have a look at this this message here. Okay, is this the kind of thing new businesses can just give a go, or does it really need to be a committed all-in for it to work? I've heard people suggest B2B businesses should basically focus on becoming media companies in many ways, but this seems a big jump for some B2B sales teams that have relied on traditional prospecting practices to this point. Good question. The thing is it all in? Well, okay, if I take back my prop. So, mobile phone. You could, without a shadow of a doubt, put that phone on a tripod and stream right now. If you've got a minimum of 150 people on your company and or your name, I think that's the deal on LinkedIn. On YouTube, you go live. On Facebook, you go live straight away. So in terms of all in, kind of it's a strange one. This part of it is really simple. Yeah, we got some of the best kit that we could get our hands on, and then we found out this is the kit that they use. So it actually is not very expensive. A camera that has an HDMI cable and some kit that can play video playback. I mean, and switch cameras. I mean, it's not a big deal in terms of kit. The big deal is is committing to do it on a regular basis. And the kind of parallel to that is you want people, you want to connect with people, with new businesses. The critical, fundamental problem that I've seen with most companies, is that they don't have a database. Oh yeah, they've got Salesforce or Pardot or not Pardot, Salesforce or any other CRM, yeah? And they hook it up to Pardot, Marketo, Eloquent, whatever the deal is with marketing automation. And they employ their BDRs to keep phoning up people to get the salespeople in touch with them for discovery calls, etc. So the problem there is your BDR can only make about 300 calls a week, and that's 60 calls a day, and they'll find maybe one person or so. I mean, it used to be 400. I'm saying that because I saw somewhere that I said it's 400 to 1, but it changes and it goes up and down. But it's a lot. Okay. So in terms of the your ability as a company to connect with new businesses, it is a nightmare because you can never get hold of enough people. If it's 300 to 1 to find someone that might be interested, we also know that you might get through to 5 to 10% of them, maybe, if you're lucky. And then most of them will say, not interested, and one of them might turn around and go, well, yeah. So that's the first part. So it's your ability to actually reach and connect with any audience. Don't forget all this, just your company's ability to reach an audience. So if you had 10,000 leads come in, you couldn't cope with them. You have, say, for example, a total addressable market of about 10,000. If we work with that, yeah. So that's everybody above 250 employees and some people between 50 and 250. So you've got a database of 10,000 people. You've bought that for $3,500, however long ago. It doesn't really, it could be 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. Some of it is going to be out of date. Of course it is, because some of those companies would have gone bust. So you've got this database. You can't phone them all. And the ones that you do phone have gone to lunch, gone to the loo, on holiday, on leave, in a meeting, and so on and so on. All those same reasons why you can't reach the numbers of people that you want to reach. And the most common is get lost, not speaking to you, not interested, I'm not putting you through. So that's the first part. So the problem businesses have is actually connecting with target companies. The next part of that is, even if you could, doing it manually, how would you engage with them? It's really difficult because people don't want to talk to you. They want to remain anonymous and all the other reasons. So the only way of doing it is our way. Our way is the only way. Anyway, so the only way it works is, so you've got your total addressable market. You should have that database already. If you haven't, get one. Rule 101, then fire your marketing people that haven't got you one. Secondly, email your total addressable market to say, we're doing a live show. Come and join. Come and watch us. That's it. Come and watch us. So go, oh, interesting. Because as you know, we're all salespeople here. Yeah. As you know, between 1 and 15% of your total addressable market are looking to buy your type of product or starting to think about buying your type of product, starting that process every week. And the reason you won't challenge me on that is because that's why you went into business in the first place. Yeah? You can't turn around and say, oh, no, those figures are absolutely ridiculous. Well, what are you in business for? You must have a market that you can sell to. So let's go between 1 and 15% are thinking about your type of product and starting that buying journey. Now, if you've just emailed all these 10,000 people, between 1 and 15% could watch you that week. This is where it gets really interesting. So when you're thinking about, should I go all in? Is it all or nothing? Well, it depends. It depends how you look at it. But if you're able to tell everybody that you're doing a live show and then do a live show and enable everybody to watch you, however many may or may not watch you, you've achieved that first element, that first calculation of that formula for sales being a numbers game. And nobody ever, ever, ever told you how to do it. They kept telling you, get on the phone, get on the phone, get on the phone. Because of the number of phone calls you make and introductions you got and meetings, demonstration, presentation, close the deal, ring the bell. That's what you were told. That's what we were all told for year in, year out for the past 30, 40, 50 years. But nobody ever told you how to manage the numbers, ever. And this is the only way you can ever, ever, ever do it. Yeah? Because if you've got a 10,000 name database, take MailChimp. MailChimp? That's not one of those pucker business platforms, is it? That's just consumer rubbish. I'm saying get rid of all the other automation platforms. 10,000 name database. You can message them 12 times a month. 10,000 people for 150 quid. How much is your marketing automation platform costing you? And forget all about Zoom Info, Cognism, Dun & Bradstreet. You don't need that. What do you need that for? You just need to know, can this company afford to pay me? Are they big enough? Have they got enough staff that this product works within that type of organisation? Yes, no. The reason you're going down the Cognism and the firmographic data route is because you can't phone enough people. So the people that you do phone, you think, I better find out about them before I speak to them. Whereas if you've got a database that says, just call anyone. We don't. In fact, what's the point? Let's not call anyone at all. Message them, say, come and have a look. And you go, well, email rates are rubbish. Yeah, so 1 to 2%. That's the response rate. That's not viewing rate. Yeah. So it's more than just your open rate. You just want them to know you do a live show about this product, this subject. Come join us. Then park that, upload the same database to LinkedIn and put banners on LinkedIn to appear in the same news feeds as all the people you just emailed. This is not rocket science. So, I mean, going back to this, I'll just reread it. So the first part was, do you have to be committed to go all in? And this could be B2B businesses should basically focus on becoming media companies and so on. This is a big jump. Well, it could be, because if you're relying on traditional prospecting, but traditional prospecting doesn't work. That's the challenge. This is what I said about this thing about the biggest challenging a company will face moving to live stream. You're challenging the status quo and challenging people's decisions. That's the challenge, because becoming a media company, define a media company really, because there's something like this. Yes, there's the gear, but once you got it, as we know, it's a revenue expense. Set it up in an office. A couple of salespeople sit in front, press a button, and have a chat. I mean, you've seen podcasts. People that do podcasts are not considered being a media company. They're just doing a podcast. Some mates get together and do it. So, for this to be perceived as being a media company, well, when you look at the numbers of people that are prepared to engage with this, that would dispel any challenge about becoming a media company. There's another point where if you've got a managing director, CEO, someone says, look, we've come across this idea and this guy, he works alone. He's had over 1,000 plus people, 1,500 people look at what he's doing in 8 weeks. And you go, okay, well, calculate that back to how many people are in your company and the engagement that you've got specifically on what you're doing. Yeah? Not looking at a tweet or whatever, specifically your new strategy, whatever. That's what this is about. You cannot touch this. Because if you, as a BDR or as a telesales person, you would only be able to find one person that might be interested per week. You go, yeah, and 300 calls, one person. So if I'm reaching 200 or 300 people, 500 people a week, you need like 200, 300, 400 BDRs. Even just 100 people a week. Every company in the world would be ecstatic selling B2B. It would be ecstatic. coming across 100 people that were interested in their product every week. And it's spectacular. So there's no, in terms of being a media company, if that's how it's perceived, so be it. But what you're doing at the moment doesn't work. You know it doesn't work. It needs to be something different. But the challenge is, I think when people think media company, they think, I don't know, GB News or an internet news company and stuff like that. And it's not. It's not that. It's just, these are the tools that have been around for a long time. They are free to use. So the fact that they're free to use is just exploit them. So I hope that's answered your question. It's not, for salespeople to have a bit of banter in front of a camera, and once they've got used to it and their nerves have settled down, if they have any, they shouldn't, because they're used to speaking to people. People do Zoom calls all the time. It's no different. Honestly, it's no different. I'll tell you that from personal experience. It's no different. Yeah. So let's have a look at another one. Glasses, eh? Does it have to be salespeople doing the show? We've got other members of the team who would like to get involved. Well, funnily enough, I'm doing a show next week about show flow. The sequences that you can have within the show. And the answer to that is absolutely anyone who's prepared who knows about the company, get in front of the camera. And part of the way that my mind works is that you should be able to sell your product. Whoever's going to sit in front of the camera should be able to sell the product or sell the company. So that's kind of one part of it, and it's about being relaxed in front of the camera. And if there's a couple of people, then that's great. As far as other people getting involved, I actually think everybody should get involved. How do you expect a prospect to get to know, like, and trust you if they just see? I mean, I was going to wear a white shirt today. You don't know that you just don't know what it's like. There's no makeup, but wear a white shirt, wear a coloured shirt, wear a striped shirt, wear a patterned shirt. Can't wear a patterned shirt because it affects the camera. Anyway, so you get lots of different people on there because it is fun. This is great. I get to speak to however many people just by pressing a button. So you can have a show that talks about the latest deals, the latest problem, the latest release, the latest partner, the latest the changes here, what we did there, customer experience information, customer success information, case studies. If you liken this to a magazine, then that's what this is. It's a magazine show. And the thing is, you can have all this technology where you can have multiple cameras, and you think, well, oh, look at that. Yeah. And once you know what it is and how it works, once it's set up, it's not a problem. So the more the merrier in terms of people getting involved, because it's completely communicating your company, and that's what you want. You want people to get to know, like, and trust you. And if you do this, I mean, bearing in mind, I know a finite number of people. I'm connected to a finite number of people. So you listening to this means that you're a minority, which is brilliant, because it means your competition is probably not listening to this. Yeah? So if your competition are not listening to it, go and blow them out the water. Yeah? Just think about it. We're talking pennies for this to be implemented. Yeah, you've got to set it up. Of course you've got to set it up. I've got another one here. Hang on a second. It says, I like your thinking, and you make it sound simple, but it's still feeling overwhelming where to start. What would be needed for you to come into our company and set it up for us? And do you provide training within the team to help adoption? Yes, yes, and yes. Next question. No. Yes, we do. And the point of this, I love these questions. The point of this is my nature is to, if I wanted to go and do something, I'll learn how to do it, and I'll pull it apart. It doesn't matter what it is, I'll pull it apart. And you can probably gather from what I'm saying when it comes to marketing, I'm saying, well, just get rid of them. You don't need them. And all the marketers listening to me going, what's he saying? But it's kind of true. And I'll qualify it. The strategies that are being used within businesses are consumer strategies created by the MarTech organisations to sell their software. B2B's adopted the software. Caveat emptor. It wasn't designed for you. And when it didn't work, those very clever people in marketing these software companies came up with things like, oh, let's call it ABM. So when you turn and go, no, this marketing automation stuff doesn't work. You go, oh, and what are you doing? Well, we're just putting the stuff out there. It's just not working. Ah, well, you are using ABM, aren't you? AB what? Oh, you're not using ABM. Oh, silly you. No, what ABM is account-based marketing. What you have to do is communicate to every single decision maker in the whole company. It now stands at about 17, 18, I don't know. Yeah? Okay, well, we'll message all of them then. You go back again and go, still not working. Well, what are you doing? Well, we write this content and send it out to everyone. Oh, silly. You're supposed to write individual pieces of content for every single person in each department. That means you've got to be writing 18 pieces of content for it to work. Really? Oh, yes. Meanwhile, pay for this add-on, this ABM add-on. Can you hear that sarcasm? So the point is that businesses have been sold a pub. It's not working. And when it comes to doing this, I go off on tangents. When it comes to doing things like this, it is something that we have structured specifically we do it in kind of stages. Come in and talk to you. Come and talk to your board. Allow your board and anybody else that you think is relevant to quick fire questions at me. Face to face, or we do it like this. We then have workshops. And so you understand the implementation and structure that needs to be adopted. And we provide workshops. We can do everything 100% for you, or we can coach or will coach and train your team to be completely self-sufficient. It can seem overwhelming. I suppose I'm comfortable with cameras. I'm comfortable with this type of technology. But you've probably got people that work for you that like doing videos. Find out. If not, that there are thousands of people that would want to do this inside of B2B. Because otherwise they've just got the film and television industry to go and try and work in. Whereas this gives them so many opportunities. Staggering. So we would set everything up right from the outset. We would do everything for you 100%, and gradually you can switch and move over. But it is a process, because you've got to look at your content, you've got to get your emails together, start saying it's coming, and then start presenting it. And let's face it, we would sit with your guys doing it. We'd either sit in on the call, on the live stream. We would get them to do test calls and test streams and practice streams in the first place, and they can see themselves, and it's all recorded before they even go live. And like I said, start off and go, oh, we're live. And the very, very first time you're getting really hot and really warm, and you're thinking, I don't want to mess up. And you go, wait a second. If you want it to be that perfect, do a video. And there's another part to this as well. I know it seems this thing about it being overwhelming. You can record a stream like this, okay? shoot a stream, record it, but then broadcast it at a later date, or restream it at a later date as often as you want. So you can go, I like that, I didn't like that, I want to adjust that, I don't like the way, we have 3 people sitting there, what we're going to do is, you should have got cut to them earlier. And you could edit these cuts afterwards before you push it out to be streamed. There's lots of ways to skin this cat. So it shouldn't be overwhelming, because the salespeople are not being told, and shouldn't be told, you have to learn all this gear. That's wrong. I wouldn't advocate that, because I want them selling in front of the camera. This is all about engaging with prospects and getting to the point of saying to a prospect, look, message us, talk to us. I mean, we've had a couple of messages come through already. Talk to us. And having other people involved in the sales team going, got a message here, I'll speak to them. So from the sales team's perspective, they just have to talk about what they're good at. That's it. Setting this stuff up, well, once it's set up and someone knows how it all plugs together, like I said, you press 2. Okay, there's 14 switches to turn on. Press 2 buttons, you're away. And that is it. And you'll have techie people that would want to adopt this and would be up for this. So I don't think and then you've got to contrast that against what you're doing at the moment. You've got graphic designers, this done, and this person, and demand gen, and this person, and that person. You've got 5, 10, 15 people in marketing. What are they doing? Nothing. So if you kind of, best case scenario, they all went out and learned how to do this and made themselves really useful. Great. Or they might want to leave and go because they don't want to do it, because they haven't researched or done any work for the past 10 years. So let them go and get people in that would want to do it. But the critical thing here is the delivery of this must be done by people that understand your product. Forget the kit. I don't want salespeople worrying about the kit. Unless, of course, they want to do it, which makes them even more valuable. And the thing is even if you've got, you don't have to have a studio. You could have a salesperson at home with a green screen or doing whatever, and they could be driving this from home. So there's, again, lots of ways to do this. And you can do shows where you've got people coming in, feeds coming in from different countries. So, okay. I hope that answered that one. Do you see live streaming completely replacing all of our marketing function? I think I've answered that one. Kind of. Back in the day, some people will remember this. Marketing used to do business cards, and they used to do brochures and mail shots. That was it. And predominantly those people were the graphic designers that did that for you. So digital came in, and marketing basically hijacked the sales process, which is where we are now. Sales process, that's the operative word. Selling, sales, yeah? Not marketing. Nobody makes any money. Nobody buys something because of marketing. They buy something because of sales. Because of sales people. So marketing to an extent, they become irrelevant. Because what we're saying is, well, you've done all that. You've had 20 years doing what you're doing. It's not worked. Oh, they'll argue. Bring it on. Just look at the numbers. Average income per person per annum for businesses in the UK is 120 grand. That's it. You have to fully understand what I just said. The average income per person per annum is 120 grand turnover. So if you're paying someone 70 grand, if you were paying, well, make it easier. If you're paying everybody 40 grand and you've got a 30% margin, so you're making 30 but paying them 40, you're out of business. Oh, let's go and get investment. So what? Companies that get invested in, same thing happens. 40% go bust, period. 75 don't achieve their own targets that they set. 95% don't make their investors any money. Your average run-of-the-mill businesses, 20% go bust in the first year, 30% in the second, 50% in the third, and by year 10, 91% of businesses have gone bust. Why is that? Because marketing does not work. Am I laying it all at marketing's feet? Yeah. Salespeople are told to follow the marketing. Can't blame the salespeople if they've been told to follow the marketing. Marketing are saying, oh, look, we're on target. We're doing our KPIs. We're getting our bonuses. Look at you lot over there selling. You're useless. Really. You want someone that, but at the end of the day, it's about the business. No sales, no business. So it would replace the marketing function, because it is quite simplistic, because what you're able to say on a live show is infinitely more than you could do in any piece of graphic or whatever. And your other content is there to support the education of your prospects. Another one here is how quickly could we get this up and running? It kind of depends on your content, because you need to have your content ready. You need to get your adverts ready. These are just graphic adverts. They're nothing special. I say nothing special, but you can use Midjourney or DALL-E or any of the AI stuff. But you're producing just simple graphic ads with links to your content. So your content needs to be right. Your graphics need to be right. And while it's in my head at the minute, and it means you don't have to do the pay-per-click, because you're not worried about SEO. Because SEO is only valid if Google chooses to index your content. If it doesn't choose to index your content, your efforts are a waste of time. Therefore, you write your content, produce your content, advertise your own content, happy days. Okay? So how long would it take? Depends on your type of company, the type of a number of products that you have. However, a few months, I would say, is best thing, because you can do this in parallel. I wouldn't suggest straight off, nobody would do it anyway, but you wouldn't just go all in and stop everything and start this again, because there will be things that are already in place. So it wouldn't take that long. And the thing is to sit down with the salespeople and craft your shows, your future shows, exactly as I've done here. We've got different subjects for different weeks. So it wouldn't take long. Give yourself a few months. And the thing about it is that when you start a business, what tends to happen is people go all in, and they get investment. They want to go all in. Well, here we are. We've got the money. Let's go and do it. And then try and sell. And the problem is that they don't know the frequency of people buying. Then they go bust. So doing it the other way around is say, okay, well, how long is it going to take before we actually get any businesses? Well, I don't know. Depends on your prospects. Depends on how you've warmed them up. Depends on your content and so on. But the fact remains, if you're reaching your total addressable market every single week, and you're engaging a percentage, and you're bearing in mind 300 touches, 20 to 30 before you become familiar. The same as sales, you could ring someone up or come across somebody and they go, do you know what? We were looking at you right now. And it happens really quickly. We've all been there. We've all had deals that have come in really quickly. But the bottom line is that if you can captivate your audience and capture your total addressable market, it means your competition aren't. So if you're all over your target market like a rash, and your competition are not doing this, you've got more exposure than they have. It's a numbers game. Yeah. So we've been on for an hour. I noticed that. In the long term, could we do this on our own? What would your involvement be? I've kind of just covered that, because yes, you can do it on your own. Yes, we'd set you up so that you could do it on your own, and then we're there for support. You've got a problem? I mean, the beauty of it these days is that if you've got a problem, you say, well, show me. So just point your camera at the screen or where things are plugged in and so on. So support can be so easy. But the point is that you have to put yourself in the shoes of your prospect. That's it. Oh, by the way, you're the prospect. It's how you react and respond to people trying to sell to you. Yeah? So it's not a complicated thing to look at. You go, well, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't engage with that or whatever. Fine, don't do it. So the important thing is that you be the prospect. And if you don't know what they want, what they really want, it's not a song. Get your salespeople to ask your prospects when they are going out, what would you like to see? What would you like to have seen? Even existing customers. Research them, find out, and then go and do it. But the point is that ongoing costs for this, you've got one off for the kit, one off for the database. You've got negligible, like 150, 200 quid for a bit of SaaS for streaming and for email. The only thing left is some costs to put some banner adverts out to get people to follow you or to look at the people that you're emailing the people, and you're putting banner ads on their news feeds. So your marketing budget has just been completely demolished. Of course, it sounds too good to be true. But I didn't get where I am today. But I've been doing this. I mean, I've been selling since 1984. So I've been there. I've got the T-shirts. Yeah, I've walked the streets in. That doesn't sound right. I cold called in the rain, sleet, and snow in the West End. Cold called. Done all of it. The most people I employed was 40 people. Didn't like it. Don't like employing lots of people, managing lots of people. It's just yeah. So this has come out of a quest. This is the culmination of almost a lifetime in selling and being forced into marketing because I thought, well, why isn't selling working? So I did it. You don't have to. This is it. This is the solution. This is the solution everybody wants. I mean, I would put up the Rogers technology curve, the innovators, early adopters, early and late majority and so on. But that's where we're at. I mean, this is like the Wild West now. This is like the gold rush. So... you made a big deal about anonymity. Well, yeah, I know that, and it's when you understand. Marketing people go, "Oh, you're making this big deal about anonymity." Go and ask a managing director. Ask your boss what he thinks. Not your marketing boss, your CEO. Does he speak to anybody? Does he allow any calls through? Will he respond to emails? Will he respond to phone calls? And the answer is no, 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 no. That's why he employs all these other people. Keep people like you, salespeople, away from them. They've got bigger and better and more important things to do than speak to salespeople who want to come and tell him how to run his company or her company. So anonymity is paramount. And that's why if you can demonstrate, we're not going to call you. Don't need to. I mean, when you start looking at numbers and ratios of people, you might need less. You most definitely will need less people. So not only have you decimated your marketing budget, you're going to reduce the numbers of people that you're employing in the first place, but reaching infinitely more people anyway. And there's a final one here. I work in marketing, but I'm not the boss. But you're critical of marketing. So where does it leave us? That's a difficult one, isn't it? In my business career, I have read a great deal, and I recognised that there was a problem. There was a problem with my sales team, and not that I had a problem selling. I've sold millions of pounds worth of gear to, all over the place, all over the UK. So it wasn't that, but it was making it consistent, because the consistency has to go hand in glove with your life, and life happens, to everybody. So something knocks you for 6, how are you supposed to continue? Surely there must be something else rather than like spinning plates. So I read and learned and read and learned and tested it and worked things out. I researched. Now, what have marketing done? Marketing haven't researched. That's what you're market research. I mean, it's a job in itself. Market research, marketing research, and you haven't done it. You've sat there and taken a salary from the guy that's probably got his house on the line for the company. You've taken a salary and blagged about getting on with marketing automation and pay per click. This is what everybody else is doing. Trying to play that nobody ever got sacked for buying IBM. So I'm not very sympathetic towards anybody in marketing. However, if you want to keep your job, I would suggest you learn about this. I would suggest you start reading it. I mean, there's 750,000 words on my website. There's videos and downloads and there's everything you never need to know is on there. But if you have to show your commitment, your desire to be involved with this to your bosses, because it's going to come like a moving train. It really is, because nobody wants to spend stupid money when there's a better, more efficient, more engaging, and more accurate and profitable and massively profitable alternative. So it's up to you if you want to be an early adopter. You know, I'm the innovator. Are you going to be the early adopter? And if you're in marketing, you've got to bang a drum for this, because if you don't, I believe you will be looked at as being someone that's not pro the company. But that's my thought. I have one last one. We've just gone past 12. Here we go. We've got, if you're suggesting salespeople should reduce their cold calling and personal email prospecting, are you suggesting they spend more time managing their pipeline? If so, we would effectively need less salespeople too. I know your view on the marketing headcount. In terms of that, about spend more time managing their pipeline, well, the trouble is with a lot of companies, they haven't got pipeline. The pipeline is like diminished and got smaller and smaller and smaller. And so you end up becoming a pain in the backside trying to manage your pipeline, because you're trying to, are you going to buy? Are you going to buy? Are you going to buy? So if you kind of turn it around a bit, if you, say, for example, your company says, we're absolutely up for this, we want to do this. You go, right, okay. If you've got two people hosting a show, who's the salesperson? The people that are hosting the show, or the individual that answers a text call? And that person says, I love your show. Can I do blah, blah, blah? And you go, yes, you can. Well, can we arrange something? I'd like to do X, Y, and Z. And you go, yes, we can do a Zoom type call, do a demonstration presentation, so on. So that person that received that text message or chat message, following day jumps on a Zoom call, does a presentation demonstration, gets the deal. Who gets paid for it? That's the conundrum. Personally, I think it should go into the centre, personally. But there has to be decisions made. It could be that you want to, the people that become the hosts don't do target anymore. They don't need to. You have to look at the levels of income. But I think that in terms of who should do what, when you've got salespeople that can put shows together, salespeople that can talk with their customers, go out to their customers, shoot an interview with their customers, bring them into the office, to your studio, shoot a show with your customers and prospects, if the prospect will come in. There are so many different things that are needed where you have salespeople's involvement, which is essential. You don't want someone from marketing on your stand at an exhibition, for example. You want someone that can sell. You want salespeople there. So that being the case, if your salespeople are gregarious, outgoing, engaging, and so on, you want them in front of the camera. But you also want salespeople to put together shows, to be involved with the shows. So you've got people that can do research, people that can go and interview because they are salespeople. You don't want someone that, a salesperson goes to interview a prospect or not a prospect, an existing customer or someone, and there's a buying signal. You go, I don't do that anymore. I'm going to go and I'll get someone to sell it to them. Take the order. The point of this is it's about the pre-sale engagement. That's what this is about. There could be salespeople that are great, would be absolutely brilliant in front of the camera. They're crap in front of the customer. Yeah. But they're great. They're gregarious. They know the product. They've got it nailed. They're affable and so on. You decide. It's your company. You decide, should they be sitting in front of the camera or do you want them out in front of the camera? There's this balance. But the deal is, if there are people that can't sell, they'll leave. If they don't want to do it, they'll leave. There could be a dramatic reduction in the numbers of people that are required, but a massive flip in productivity and sales because you bring this around so people can do this online and not need someone to go face to face. What would change for the future? I don't know. You could, your salespeople are the people that should be writing the content. If they're writing the content, historically, you should be out selling, but you can't get out. They don't want to see you. Prospects don't want to see you. So it depends. If you're able to lose a marketing department or most of the people in the marketing department, what are the people in sales going to do? Well, they're not going to necessarily become superfluous because there is content to be written, podcasts to be recorded, live shows to be recorded, engagement with video potentially going to record customer stories, written content, graphs and diagrams, things that need to be brought together. So it's and the reason that this is critical, some people will lose their jobs. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's what happens in business. Because it's a realignment of what's needed. If you think that the business in the first place is overpopulated, it's got too many people working for it in the first place because of the blags and crap that came out from marketing saying we need to do all of this, that and the other and take all these people on, and look, it doesn't work. So people end up getting fired on especially BDRs, get fired or get let go on a regular basis because they're thinking it must be the BDR that's got the problem. You go, no. It's not the PDR with the problem. It's the actual infrastructure that the business has to try and sell its products. It doesn't work. And marketers are swanning around, Peter Kay, swanning around, making out that they're the be-all and end-all. I mean, I've heard the most incendiary comment I heard was from a CMO from a very big MarTech company, begins with D, saying, we are calling the shots. As marketers, we're calling the shots. We're controlling the narrative. It's down to us. We're the ones that can do it. And if you're getting a hard time regarding your marketing budget, you let me know. I'll come in and help you defend it. So there's going to be not just natural wastage. There's going to be a pairing, a culling almost, of businesses going, wait a second. We're reaching more people doing this. What do we need all them for? Exactly, so get rid of them. When it comes to sales, it's an important measurement of who's doing what and why and how. And if you go, well, I've got my target. I want to earn what I was earning before. Well, let me let you into a little secret. Those days are gone. They're finished. You might want to be paid on target on what you are doing as an individual. But we've just proven and spent an hour and a half, whatever, saying it doesn't work because nobody wants to talk to you. So the mechanism that you had before that accompanied what you're doing with your target, that used to be cold calling. You used to do it. You used to do the cold calling, go and find the prospects, go and meet them, go and see them, go and do the demonstration, presentation, close. You did all of it and rang the bell. Now you don't. You don't do anything in the first instance because you've got BDRs and telesales people doing it and you're being told to wait there for the leads. So how can you be paid in the same way? So if there's an adjustment and a restructuring in how people, the way this process is applied, well, it could be, how about getting, like in banking? Banking, at the end of the year, bankers get massive bonuses. Why can't that happen in sales? I think I'll leave that with you. But these are my thoughts. These are my thoughts. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come into land now. I'm going to take that off there. I'm going to put that back up. I'm going to go over to this next one. What do I think your next step should be, having listened to me answer these questions and so on? Well, talk to your colleagues, have a chat, look at our website. But you have to think about it. There's no like call to action here. Close and contact me and so on. No, you've got to think about this. Your current methodology doesn't work. So you have to do something different. I've got a solution nobody else has. And that's spectacular. Yeah? Nobody else has got the same solution. I love it. You can go solo, or you can engage us and make it happen quickly. All the information that you need is on our website, or you can contact me and I'll come in and do my thing and make it happen quickly. And like I said, you can do it in parallel, or you can go all in. But most people would do it parallel anyway. Think about your content. Think about what you've got. It's really important to enable or to allow your prospects to remain anonymous. That's the critical thing. And once they know that, then they will be more prepared to engage with you. And like it says there, don't keep throwing good money after bad. Yeah, put a moratorium on any marketing spend. I'm sure every CFO would welcome that. And that's it. Next week's show flow time. How to put a show together. Whether you've got adverts or different segments, how you move from segment to segment, all that kind of stuff, and the different kind of technologies that we use, that you've seen us use, and that's it. I mean, I think that I think the most important thing for you to know is that once you see this and understand this is not complicated to use. You kind of need a sit down in a quiet room to realise the enormity of this compared to everything that you've ever done over the past 20 years. Nothing touches it. It's scary good. So that's it. That's it from me. I have to look away before I... No, I don't. I think I've got it on here. I have a button on here, which I press. So this is what I'm saying. Anybody could do this. I've got a button for camera 1, a button for camera 2. I've got a lower third, which is my name, and that comes up, and that stays on there for a little while. This is all like macro buttons, and then it will sweep off to the right or left, and then that's it. That's all you need to do. I'm sure anybody can do that. And I'm just looking for the right button to press so I don't press it again. Bye for now. See you next week. Join me then.